guys, good afternoon. It's great to have you back. Hope you guys had a great summer. And like I said, it's good to be back. It's good to be in August. It's football season. We welcome our guys back. You know they've been here all summer. Yesterday afternoon, and had meetings all day long. I mean, we had meetings from 1:30 to 8:30 last night. And our guys were ready to play some ball today. Just overall, and I know you guys got a lot of questions. Just physically, I think we came into camp, healthy as could be. Jerry, you were gonna ask the health question, so I figured I'd give it to you early. But we're healthy and probably as strong and as fast as we've been. I'm not gonna go through a bunch of strength numbers, but when you look at it compared to last year or even 2021, just some of our, just our average squat by position and bench and all those things, all those numbers are kind of low. So we got a strong football team. I think we got a fast football team. I had a couple 4-2s during the summer, and I feel good with where we are right now. And again, we got number 1 under our belt today, which is always good to see where you are. I always think there's a lot of bad habits that we have to break from all their July work where they're doing it by themselves and we can't coach them. So we're in the business of breaking bad habits now in August. But the kids worked hard today. Again, you get done with practice and they're like, Coach, that was fast. It's already over. So I think we're just in really good shape and looking forward to coaching these guys the rest of the year. Questions?
Pat, what are you looking for in the first week of summer camp? Are you just looking to see, who's rusty from spring, who's not, or what are you looking for as an evaluation?
I feel like they're all rusty. Mm-hmm. They haven't really played real football since spring ball, since the spring game, putting on a helmet, putting on their spider pads, whatever it may be, just playing the game and getting coached hard. It had to happen. So I'd say everybody's a little bit rusty. It takes time to get in the groove, whether it's a quarterback or a D lineman, and it's all the same. It takes time to get in exactly what we wanted. Put it this way: if these guys could coach themselves in July, they wouldn't need us. Okay? It'd be like, what's that? The AI stuff that's going on right now. They would just get coached by robots or whatever. But so that's what they need us. They're all kind of a little bit rusty, I would say. Hopefully there's not too much rust. Hopefully it's just a little steel wool. We clean it up real quick and polish it up and get ready to go and keep getting better.
Pat, after you guys won 5 games to close your season out, does momentum exist when you have so much time off and have to go to a new season?
Yeah, I'd say there's no momentum from where we ended the season. It's always great to end on a high note, but we're not carrying that in going, I don't think they're going in with we're 5-0, let's go 6-0. I think that's been long gone.
But you have a lot of guys that are coming back from last year's offense and a new quarterback who's used to your offensive coordinator. How much faster do you think you guys can start, or are you expecting you guys to start with what you're working on in your install in your summer camp compared to last year?
Yeah, I think the install will be faster. I think, anytime you have a quarterback and a coordinator that work together, I'm watching Christian Bayer out there today. I'm like, just his second time going out and in that second phase, he went through spring ball. I thought he looked really, really sharp today as well. It's like, oh, he looks a little different. I said him after practice, I said, hey, you feel a little bit better right now than you did in spring ball? He goes, a lot better. Just more comfortable, the terminology, the confidence. And I think that's, for sure what Phil had, in the spring. So, again, that's every position. Everybody should be a little bit more comfortable.
And you mentioned talent level on the team compared to the talent level you got here. Well, what's the biggest difference in that team when you first got here and this team now?
That's a great question. We can put some tape on. Put 2015 there and 2022 there. I think it's just a lot of different. You look at it, it just looks slower, it looks smaller, it looks, it just looks totally different. Totally different. It's night and day. Maybe it's the camera guy. Maybe the camera guy's older. Wasn't so good back in the day, and he's a lot better now. But it's just the talent level's better than what it was, and that's no disrespect to some of the guys we had playing for us because we had some good players. But it just seems like top to bottom. You're watching guys out there today, and it's a different. I feel better this year just looking at these guys running around like, oof. It's a pretty good football team. When you guys tell me you guys walked out there, you've been there back in 2015. When you watch practice and you watch it now, to me there's a little bit of a difference. I think.
You guys added a couple of players after spring ball through the portal. How would you say their process in getting integrated with Pitt has gone so far?
You're going to have to tell me who that was. I know Epps is one of them, right?
Yeah. Jackson Brown was another.
Jackson Brown. Yeah. And again, when you add them, you don't get spring ball in. They're starting at ground zero, really. But, you know, we've seen both of them do some good things through, you know, the summer, but we're not out there, we're not watching them in July. You know, you're getting very limited opportunities to even see what they can do. But I know Coach Stack is excited with what they did numbers-wise and the work and effort they put in the weight room. So, you know, that'll be you know, is it Jackson Brown, is it Malcolm Epps, is that it?
Is that it? Yeah, I think so.
Recruiting goes.
Pat, you mentioned, you talked about NIL and transfer portal a lot. And now that it's entrenched and it's not going away, how can it be regulated? I think you mentioned a salary cap. Is that
Yeah, I
feasible?
mean, I think, you know, I mentioned that, you know, and again, when I say salary cap, I mean, the NFL has it. You know, I'm not saying the salary cap has to be down here. It could be $20 million, you know, we can spend. I don't care what it is, but get something where we all know that's what we have to be at. You know, I'd like to go into Heather and say, hey, everybody else has got 20, so we need 20 million. That's got to be it. So, okay, what are we going to do? But to not know what everybody's doing, you're sitting there guessing. You don't know what it is. It's hard to, you know, design and say, you know, it's like, hey, guess what? We're like 85 scholarships, so I'm going to make sure I got 85. What if we said, hey, you can have as many scholarships as you want? Okay, well, like, where does it end? I mean, how do you know how many you should take or how many you can't take? Is it going to be, you know, everybody, you know, whoever wants to have 125 scholarships can have 125 scholarships? So that's what I'm talking about. Regulation. Again, I want them to make as much money as they can, but we got to put a limit on it so everybody knows what the limit is. There's limits to everything. Your wife probably limits what you can spend. She probably gives you $100 a week. There's got to be limits somewhere.
I limit what you can spend.
Exactly.
I'm gonna tell her that, Jerry.
What about pay cut or salary cap is one thing, but do you feel you're at a disadvantage because there is no regulation of NIL right now?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you how much of a disadvantage we are. I mean, I think there's disadvantages across the country. It wouldn't be just us, but I think the more fannies you put in the stands, the more alumni that you have. You know, if you got 17,000 alumnus, you know, I mean, think about if every alumnus gave $100, what you could have. I think all that stuff matters. There's got to be some limit.
Has that been increasing since you've been here? The donations and stuff like that?
Oh yeah. Talk to Bostic about that. He's in charge of major gifts. He'll be afterwards. He called his radio show on Saturday morning from 8 to 9.
How important is team culture whenever, like, keeping in mind what happened at Northwestern this year? How important is it to have strong culture in your locker room?
You know, just look at Chicago. It's really strong. You know, and I can't tell you they didn't have a strong culture there because I got a ton of respect for Pat Fitzgerald and what he does and who he is as a person. But the strong culture and doing things the right way and staying on it. Like we had meetings yesterday, and again, that's no different than we had in 2015 and talking about, you know, whether it's Title IX stuff, you know, hazing, all that stuff. You know, I can pull out a winner's manual from 2015 that we go through with our guys, and it's talked about all the time. And we remind our guys all the time of what's happened, whether it's a gambling thing happening out in Iowa State, whatever it is. I'm always keeping our guys in the know. Because our guys are on TikTok, they're on Instagram, they have no clue what happened at Iowa State yesterday with the 26, violations or whatever you want to call it out there. So I mean, you know, I'm always informing our guys what's going on so they're aware, like, oh, good thing we don't do that. It's just a constant reminder, but have a good culture, and, you just got to keep it going because day by day.
And that coaches, do you feel like a little disappointed that you have to tell kids that hazing is bad? I mean, these kids are adults after all.
You know what? That's our job. I don't. It's our job. I mean, it's everything. I mean, we got a bunch of. Yesterday I had like 3 or 4 guys. I said, "Who's 17 years old in here?" And they got like 4 guys in the back. I'm like, holy cow! I mean, you got 17 to 22 year olds. Sometimes Tipton's around at 24 or 5, whatever he is. But that's our job. That's what we're here for. That's what when parents drop their sons off to college. It's like, hey, we're gonna take care of your son. We're gonna take it the next step. Different things happen, and you get put in to some culture, and if they're doing something wrong, kids think it's the right way to do it, and it's not, because that's what they did before, and that's what they did before. So that's our job. I really do believe that. It's not just coaching football. It's just we got to make sure they go to class. You think it's sad that we pay for your school? We still got to make sure you go to class. Jerry, you probably skipped. Billy skipped class probably back in the day. But that's our job. We do it's everything. It's not just coach football and X and O's.
Yeah, this time of year is a lot of coaches like it because you have so much time with your players before classes start or whatever. you get that culture in place. You know, I cover the Steelers. They've been going to St. Vincent for whatever 50 some years. Have you considered taking these guys somewhere to camp? And what are the benefits? Well, you know, what are the benefits of doing it?
Yeah, you know, we've thought about it. You know, there's some teams that, you know, we have gone away. I've gone when we were at Cincinnati, we used to go to Camp Higher Ground. I love it, you know. But when you went out there, and I never forget sitting in a hotel room with the defensive staff, you know, just like, you know, like one of the Motel 6 hotel rooms. You know, sitting there, no disrespect to, you know, Motel 6, but just, it was like, what are we doing here? You know, the cameras are bad, the screen falls down, you know, just all that. I mean, like when you have this facility that we get to work with every day, I don't think twice about going anywhere. I mean, it's just, you're moving your whole operation. You know, the last week before, you know, you're watching the Steelers move all their weight room out there, they're moving everything out there. You know, to move everything out there, you'd want to have a facility, as already said, you'd want to have 2 facilities. If you went to a Johnstown, for example, but our facilities are so good here, you know, we got the best food in the world here. Like, we're gonna go somewhere else, they're gonna feed us what? You know, it ain't, you know, our kids would be like, Coach, you know, what are we doing here? But we do put them in the hotel down here, down the street. School you know, they have school and classes till Friday, so once classes break, they move into the hotel on Saturday. They'll be there for, you know, I think 16, 17 days. So
And
that's
it's
kind of like camping out.
basically it's replicating that sort of camp feel, but maybe with a little more comfortable setting, because I'm sure, you know, Motel 6 will leave the light on for you, but maybe not fixture projector.
No question about it. No doubt. I mean, we have the best here. I mean, you know, you go to your room at night. I mean, I remember Camp High Ground, we didn't have air conditioning. I mean, it was like, it was camping. Okay? I'm not looking for day camps. We're trying to win football games, you know, the health and safety of our kids and how they sleep, how they eat, how they're treated, the cold tubs. I mean, just all the facilities we have, all the recovery stuff. You just can't, to take everything that we have here, the quality we have here, and move it somewhere else, it wouldn't be the same.
Pat, your team was picked to finish tied for 6th in the ACC in the preseason poll. Is that something you think will put a chip on their shoulders, or is that something you think your team's not even aware of?
They're probably not aware of it. I don't know if they probably follow the ACC or whatever. You know, EJ probably knows better than me. But I hope it puts a chip on their shoulder. I mean, we've never been picked for, you know, to be first. So it's the same, you know, it's the same thing as last year, and same thing as the year before, except now there's, you know, I guess sixth in the total ACC with 1 division now. I guess would be like being 3rd in the Coastal. So I guess we're just right where they always put us.
But Pat, is that frustrating though, because you guys have had some success? And what, EJ, correct, 2nd winning this program in the conference since he got here, is that correct? And yet it seems to be the same song and dance every August. People not, you know, maybe recognizing that you guys have, the floor here has been raised maybe significantly in the last 8-9 years.
But I think, you know, everybody thinks, you know, and again, without mentioning names, everybody thinks that they're better than you. That's kind of how it is. I mean, there's some other really good programs out there. Whether you beat them or not, we're going to be better the next year. We had a bad year, but we're going to be better this year. We were, you know, they all have excuses of why they didn't win. And we just keep plugging away. So, you know, and everybody believes excuses and ranks them up higher, you know, whatever. We'll just keep playing football. Our job is to win 1 game at a time, as you guys know, and just coach our football team, try to be good in August here, and then once September 2nd comes around, show people what we got.
Has the portal changed the way recruiting, in the sense that, you know, now when a guy commits and goes elsewhere, there's always that chance that they could come back? Or did you always keep tabs on guys that you were in on and went elsewhere in case they decided to have a change of heart?
You know, we didn't, you know, I think the portal changes. I think you never, you know, it's all about relationships. Whether you come in 1st or 2nd, you know, sometimes you come in 1st and you get the guy, sometimes you come in 2nd. You know, it's how you end that relationship when a kid commits. I mean, I always say that if a kid commits somewhere else, I'm like, hey, congratulations, man, good luck to you. You're going to be a great player there, and just kind of let it go. But you know, kid from Pittsburgh, like, you know, MJ Devonshire, for example, when he goes and comes back, and it's an easy recruit. Jackson Brown, you know, one we talked about, which I don't think they've talked to Jackson Brown as well, but you know, he didn't come visit. I mean, anybody that's like MJ went away and then he came back, we visited him again. He didn't visit the 2nd time. It was like, I'm coming to Pittsburgh. That's where I want to be. That's where I should have been to begin with. And he played at Cal. So, I mean, those examples are just, you know, good relationships that, you know, sometimes you get them the 2nd time around. And those are ones that we want because we know who they are as people. And again, we trust our evaluation the first time.
Can that help you on the recruiting trail locally, that you can point to guys you're in on that are high-profile guys locally and say, hey, look, we've had guys that went elsewhere and they ended up coming back? Is that a a beneficial thing maybe to the program?
No question about it. I mean, we're going to try to live off that, guys. Whether it's New Jersey, New York, Ohio, or obviously in the Whitfield here, we're going to try to get those guys back if they end up going to Forum.
Is there a guy on your defensive line group right now that you can lean on more as the leader of the group? Because you guys have had guys like Kalijah over the years, Patrick, Rashad, like a number of guys who have been the finally good. But I think this is probably the group that's had the least amount of the players that you guys had from some of the COVID years on a roster.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, there's a few of them that really starts inside. Really, I'd say David Green and Devin Davison are two of the guys, and really Tyler Bentley stepped up, and he's really grown up through the years. And those would be the three guys I look at right now. Those are the three, guys inside that are really the leaders of that. Maybe David Green will be the number one guy right now. I don't want to, I'm trying to think. I know David Green's on our leadership council. Devin, I don't think is, but Devin's he's a vocal guy. He's physical, and he leads by example on the field. So I'd say those two guys for sure are guys that are leading up front.
Pat, I know you say every position's up for grabs in camps, but what are some big starting position battles that you guys have going on right now? I think you mentioned guard at the kickoff last week. Is there anything on the defensive side of the ball, and is punter still open position battle?
Yeah, I mean they're everywhere, but I'd say if you had to look at some of the hottest contested places, I'd say the guard position for sure. But you know what, Branson Taylor's got just watching Bengali rush off the edge today. We better tighten up over there because Bengali kind of wrecked their period today. He's 230 pounds. I'm like, someone better know where number 11 is. So I mean, but so you look at that guard spot, but everybody's got to come out and practice and do that. There's still competition at quarterback. There's you got Rodney back there, but Sebo's a really good football player. Derek Davis, where Sebo's got Daniel Carter. There's a lot of competition. Who's getting the reps? And again, when you look at depth charts, sometimes there's not hey, these are the top 11 players. I mean, they're fluid nowadays. It's like, you could almost say there's like 16 or 17 starters on offense. I mean, there's, you look at Gavin and Carter Johnson, Gavin Bartholomew, Johnson and Malcolm Epps. Those three guys there, and Jake Renda is it just keeps getting better. So I mean, there's 4 tight ends that are really athletic now. Receiving core. I mean, I think we know who our top 2 are with Kanate and Bub, but who's going to be that 3rd receiver, that 4th receiver, 5th receiver? We got 4 true freshmen that are all talented. We saw Izzy in the spring. We saw Lamar Seymour in the spring. All of a sudden, Kenny Johnson comes into town. Zion had a heck of a day today. I think he's a football player. Fowlerell. I mean, so you watch that and you go, oof. Right now I'm going, which one of those freshmen is going to play for us? Maybe 2. I don't know which one it's going to be, but they're going to play this season for us. So there's that competition. D-end, there's competition. D-tackle, I think you got some older guys in there that that we talked about earlier, just with the leadership part that are doing good. Linebacker, Brandon George is fighting to be that starter, the Mike or the boundary backer, and Solomon Shields, he's still fighting to hang on. I mean, Tyler Wilkes didn't play in spring ball, and he's fighting to be one of those guys that's getting reps. At safety, probably a major battle. Safety spot with PJ and Javon and Steph Hall, all those. There's 4 or 5 guys that are Donovan McMillan. Who's going to play? Who's going to start? I mean, it's wide open in my opinion. I'd say that the number 1 guy right now is Javon McIntyre at safety. Then the punter situation with Yerk and Junko, there's a competition there too. So it's really everything. I mean, I gave you all every position. Sorry.
Ed, you mentioned competition at quarterback. Is that the start, or is that within the?
I think just competition. I mean, it's good. I mean, I look, we kind of look at the end of spring ball and Phil's the guy. But I think anytime you go into the season, you look and you go, hey, who's getting better? I mean, our whether it's quarterback or whether it's corner or safety, our kids that sit in this front row and the back rows. I mean, these kids know who the starters are. It's hard to fool them and say, oh yeah, that guy's a starter. Boy, he had a shitty day today, they watch videotape too. Sometimes they watch it 2 or 3 times. Sometimes they only watch it 2 times. They watch it sometimes more. They have more free time where I'm busy putting out fires. So, they know who they are. But there's competition in every position. I mean, you always, there's competition in the NFL. I mean, there's competition. So.
Pat, you're one of the few teams in the Power 5 that will schedule. At least you guys have 2 Power 5 opponents and then Notre Dame on your non-conference schedule, and that's not particularly unique. You guys like to schedule ambitiously. Is there a particular reason why you like to schedule Power 5 teams in your non-conference instead of maybe picking up
You know what, I'll play anybody that they want to play. It doesn't really matter. I mean, I think our kids get fired up, you know, to play big games. And, you know, but if you told me we're gonna play 4 powder posts, I'll play them too. I don't care what it is, just give them to me. I think one of the reasons is scheduling. I mean, who wants to, you know, we talk about selling season tickets at Acrisure Stadium, who wants to come see 4 FCS teams come in here? You know, like, you know, really, is that what we're paying for? You know, wait till October or November to get some single game tickets. So I think that's one of the things that comes out. You know, we'll put exciting, you know, teams in this stadium, in this city to show off what we got and how we match up with all those teams. So, you know, in the end, some people have maybe prettier records, but like who's playing real teams and who's not. And, you know, people that can measure that, that's great. You know, but they always say at the end of the year, they don't care who you beat. You know, it's how many wins you have. They don't remember that you beat nobody or you beat somebody.
Pat, what are your expectations for day on kids this season?
You know, just like they are for everybody else. I mean, we expect Deion to be a really good football player, keep getting better, be consistent. You know, if you ask Deion what do I tell him every day, like consistency. You know, on and off the field, like every day. Don't be a great player today and then take a day off tomorrow. So to me, it's about consistency. I never had talked to a Kalijah Kancey about consistency because he just got it every day. So to me, we want to be consistent. We think he can be really good, but it's every day going to work and putting in the effort.
Pat, I know you've only seen them through spring practice and then today, but what do you like from each of the quarterbacks so far?
What do I like from the quarterback so far?
Yeah.
I guess first thing you love about Phil is Phil's got experience. Right? He's played in big games. He's played. He kicked our butt a couple years ago during COVID up there, and he knows the offense probably the most in that room. Christian, you love the way he throws it. He's a competitor, and I just see him leading out on the field a little more. I see him a little bit more comfortable. And again, that's just a one day. Just listen to him to talk to the other guys, whether it's a receiver or tight end. Then obviously Phil's got those leadership skills. And again, Nate Yarnell is a guy that that is tough and he's a gamer, and he continues to get better. So, I mean, there's great things to like about everybody and things you need to work on with everybody.
Pat, is Eli a member of your coaching staff now? Kasanovich? Is Eli Kasanovich on your coaching staff, or is he helping out?
Eli is a student coach right now.
Student
That's
coach?
Good eyeball there. You guys know they changed that rule, and I'm going to give Heather Lykin, she's on the FOC. Usually we can bring 110 into camp. In the NCAA, did the right thing. We kind of got, I think, emergency legislation to bring in 120. So we got 10 extra players this year. And we worked hard at the ACC level. Dave Clausen worked hard as well as I did, making calls and just trying to figure it all out. But we got it to 120, and Heather's the chair of that committee, and she pushed it. We didn't think it was going to go through, and we got it. Our kids were so excited because, there's 12 months in a year, and for 11 months out of the year, we could have 117 to 120 players on our team. And then when August comes around, the most important month of football, we would have to tell, I would have had to tell 10 guys if they kept the rule the same and it didn't change a week ago or whatever it was, 10 days ago, if it would stay the same, I'd have to cut 10 guys and say, hey, when school starts in September, we can bring back 70. Okay, I don't know which 7's going to be, but I've had bad news, and that's not good for the mental state of these kids. And some of these kids were like, some might transfer. We've had other ones transfer in the past when they're like, I'm not coming to camp. Okay, I'm going into Florida and I'm going to transfer, and I don't blame them. But it was a major, change. What's it? Another couple of rooms in the hotel? I mean, really, what are we talking about? So, appreciate all the hard work Heather put in to get that done for college football. And obviously, the Power 5 teams won it. Some of the Group of 5s actually didn't want it because it is making more money for them. But that's why sometimes those Group of 5 and Power 5, hey, maybe we have, then you guys don't bring it in. Let us bring it in. But it was a great rule, and again, it helps with the health and safety of your players because you got more guys. If a position gets hurt, you got guys down, you got someone else to put in there. You can practice still. If someone gets hurt, then you start to wear out the other guys behind them, and then they get hurt too. And then you really end up in a jam. So it's a positive, and it's great for these guys to be in here. And talking about the culture, we sit in here all day yesterday talking about all the rules and the expectations of Pitt football. And then you don't have 10 guys there, and then when school starts, you bring in these other guys. You don't have time. You can't replicate what we did yesterday. I mean, those are some long meetings, and to have everybody in that room hearing the same exact word, they know what we have as coaches for expectations, and that's another huge bonus is having everybody, you know, there's nobody gonna be on our team come September that's not already been in this room.
Our offensive session starts in 4 minutes. Let's take one final question, please.
Pat,
Two. Yeah, cause I was a minute late.
You have a lot of starters coming back on the offensive line. What about the two Lions there in Jacoby? Where do they fit in?
You know, Bear will get some work both at left guard, left tackle. Jacoby will get some work at both left guard and left tackle, and kind of see how it shakes down. You know, we're just gonna find the best people over there. And what better time to find out is versus our defense and all the different things we do. We'll find out before the season who's that best guy, you know, who's the best five.
And how do you envision the ground game? Is it Rodney? Do you want Rodney to be your lead guy? Do you want to spread that around? How do you?
I want to find out during fall camp and find out where they are. I mean, you know, we know Rodney's a good player. I think Sebo's a good player too. So we're gonna find out. I mean, we got a two-headed monster back there. That's great too. You know, but again, we had that last year really with Izzy and Rodney. Then when Rodney got hurt, then you know, kind of changed a little bit. So we'll see.
Coach, thank you.
Anything else?